Coming up next on Star City News, tables were turned when two Good Samaritans helped out a local police officer who was being attacked by a drunk man. Now, LPD is looking for those two to say thank you.
LES is offering an alternative energy option in the capital city, and despite opposition from area residents, a retail warehouse is coming to town.
All that and more right now. Good evening and welcome to Star City News. I'm Michael Snow.
And I'm Brett Nierengarten. Lincoln police officers are asking for the public's help in identifying two Good Samaritans who came to the aid of an officer Sunday.
Star City's Lauren Reams joins us live on O Street with more on the story.
That's right, Brett and Michael. Police are asking for help in identifying the two Samaritans who jumped in to help the officer being attacked here at this very location off 9th and O on Sunday. Police say this is the 58th assault of an officer this year. Early Sunday evening, an LPD officer was near 9th and O Street when he noticed 34-year-old Juma Sakio going against the light. He stopped to talk to Sakio and noticed he was slurring his speech and was swaying. The 28-year-old officer attempted to bring Sakio into protective custody when he started fighting and trying to pull off his earpiece. Two Samaritans noticed the struggle and came to the officer's aid. Before the officer could thank both men, they were gone. The LPD chief says the department is incredibly appreciative of the two men who stepped in.
We recognize that this is a rarity. It isn't something that happens every day. And we want to make sure and publicly acknowledge these individuals. Now, that doesn't mean that we need to broadcast their names through the news media, but we do have formal recognition efforts through the Lincoln Police Department.
Sakio was arrested on suspicion of third-degree assault on a police officer, failure to comply, and resisting arrest. According to the chief, there have been 58 assaults on an officer this year so far. There was a reported 52 in 2015 and 54 in 2014. On a national scale, in 2015 alone, there were over 50,000 cases of on-duty assaults, and over 48,000 cases were reported in 2014 to assaults on officers. The chief says the two Samaritans were a key reason the officer wasn't seriously harmed.
And their assistance was vital to preventing further injury to the officer, to the individual that was resisting, and then affecting the custodial arrest.
Police want to formally thank the Good Samaritans for helping and stepping in to help the officer. They also want to question both Samaritans about the incident before and after it happened. Police say to call their local dispatch number if you have any information on the incident. Reporting live off 9th and O Street, I'm Lauren Reams. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Lauren. Lincoln police detained a 13-year-old late last night for breaking into 10 cars throughout Lincoln. The suspect stole gift cards, credit cards, and cash, amongst other items, and all of the cars were left unlocked. And an Omaha middle school teacher has been arrested on suspicion of sexual assault of a child. Daryl Clark, a teacher at Monroe Middle School in Omaha, was booked yesterday. Now, the incident which led to the arrest was not related to any Monroe students. Clark also coaches youth softball teams with girls ranging from 14 to 16 years old. If convicted, Clark will face 20 years to life in prison.
Two children were hospitalized after a two-car crash on 22nd and Potter Streets at 7:30 this morning. According to Lincoln Police, both cars went into the intersection at the same time before colliding, causing one to end up on its top and the other to roll backwards. Police say the injuries to the children are not life-threatening. The driver of one of the vehicles was intoxicated and was issued his fourth DUI.
Lincoln Fire and Rescue were called to 63rd and Fremont Street last night in Lincoln, and when an LFR got to the scene, they began battling a garage fire that had started around 8:15 p.m. Lincoln Fire and Rescue said there are no injuries to report at this time, and the homeowner is being assisted by the Red Cross until he can return to his residence.
In a 7-2 vote, the Lincoln-Lancaster County Planning Commission voted to approve for a 156,000 square foot Costco to be built in South Lincoln. The retail store received a backlash from residents in the area because it's being built between two schools. Neighborhood residents said the retail warehouse would cause too much traffic and could be dangerous for school children. The proposal now needs final approval from the Lincoln City Council.
Coming up next on Star City News, LES is going green.
And Omaha native Todd Ricketts will join the Trump administration.
Welcome to the Adele Coryell Hall Learning Commons. This new addition will soon become the scholastic hub of City Campus. Enjoy the vibrant learning environment designed to accommodate and promote academics. The Commons also has a number of private study rooms to gather and collaborate with classmates and friends. Come visit the Adele Coryell Hall Learning Commons at Love Library today.
One wrong choice can make you feel like the walls are closing in. Sometimes, you don't know where to turn. Student Legal Services is here for you when those situations strike. SLS attorneys offer free legal advice and representation to registered UNL students. Don't let one wrong decision ruin your future plans. Contact Student Legal Services at 402-472-3350 or visit our office at the UNL Student Union.
The College of Journalism and Mass Communications is the perfect place for higher learning. Students have the chance to study journalism, broadcast journalism, and ad PR. Our distinguished students have the best possible resources with equipment, professors, and internships. Coming soon is the first of its kind, Interactive Digital Media Hub. The future is bright at the CoJMC. Why not make yours too? Enroll today. Visit journalism.unl.edu.
In 2012, the national percentage of adults reporting that they drank too much alcohol before driving was 1.9%. In that same year, Nebraska adults reported 3.4%, nearly twice as much as the national average. People know they shouldn't drive, yet they still do. People go out and plan on coming back home. But as we all know, everything doesn't always go as planned. Inform those around you about the risks of drunk driving.
Wildfires have continued to cause destruction throughout Tennessee. The fires have swept throughout the eastern part of the state, hitting the city of Gatlinburg especially hard. 7 people have been confirmed dead, and early reports say more than 700 homes and businesses have been damaged, 300 of those in Gatlinburg alone. In addition, 14,000 Gatlinburg residents have been displaced from the city, and 2,000 are in emergency shelters. On top of a $10 million loan, the state of North Dakota has borrowed an additional $7 million from the Bank of North Dakota to cover the costs associated with the Dakota Access Pipeline protests. Pipeline developer Energy Transfer Partners has offered to cover the state's policing costs, but Governor Jack Dalrymple said he is unaware of the offer and does not know if the state could legally accept it. Dalrymple also issued an executive order related to the pipeline, stating if you are found to be sending supplies to protesters, you could be fined up to $1,000. Maxine Herr from the Morton County Sheriff Department expanded more, saying any action or interaction by any party which encourages persons to enter, re-enter, or remain in the evacuation area will be subject to penalties as defined in law.
And President-elect Trump will speak in Cincinnati tonight on what his staff is calling a thank you tour. Now, a big question surrounding Trump is what's going to happen with the separation from him and his business, which he said he would address at some point in December. Trump was also in Indiana earlier today to announce a deal with a major air conditioning business that would keep around 1,000 jobs in America. And Omaha native Todd Ricketts was selected by President-elect Trump to join his administration. Ricketts will take over the role of Secretary of Commerce. Trump said Ricketts will be an important part of implementing his economic plan and mentioned the turnaround of the Chicago Cubs, led by the Ricketts family ownership, is what he wants representing the American people.
Know that the United States military deserves a commander-in-chief who loves our country passionately.
Former Alaska Governor and Vice Presidential candidate Sarah Palin is reportedly being considered for Secretary of Veterans Affairs. The Veterans Affairs Department is the largest government agency with more than 300,000 employees and a budget of $182 billion in the upcoming year. And a statewide recount is underway in Wisconsin. Temporary workers have been hired to retabulate the 3 million ballots cast in the state. A majority of the counties are recounting by hand, but some are using the same machines that were used during the election. Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein, who raised funds for the recount, lost a court challenge earlier this week to have all ballots retallied by hand. Hillary Clinton lost to Donald Trump by 22,000 votes in Wisconsin after polls predicted she would carry the state.
And tragedy struck small-town Iowa when a truck drove through a Pella Walmart entrance and killed 3 people. The driver of the truck was one of 2 others who were injured in the accident. Local law enforcement says none of the deceased are children, and a Walmart official released a statement saying the following: "We are heartbroken by what happens to be a tragic accident. Our focus right now is on associates and customers and gathering more information." And investigators are saying that a plane crash that killed at least 71 people, including members of a Brazilian soccer team, was caused by fuel starvation. Before the plane crashed, the pilot told air traffic control that the aircraft was in total electrical failure without fuel, according to recordings. Here's a part of the audio that was released. Now, investigations are still ongoing. 3 members of the team, 2 members of the crew, and a journalist did survive the crash.
And solar energy panels are about to become very accessible right here in Lincoln.
Star City's Bailey Hurley is live in Lincoln with more.
And start investing. Thanks, Michael and Brett. Today is the first day Lincoln residents can start investing in LES's new solar panel farm. They essentially buy the energy produced, and then that's credited towards their monthly bill for the next 20 years. Now, LES couldn't talk with me today because they're in a meeting with Lincoln residents right now talking about all of this. So instead, I took to the streets of downtown and talked to people and asked them if this is something they would even sign up for.
Solar energy is the new way that everyone's going to function. We're going to run out of gas anyway, so I mean, you might as well convert to it now while you're still saving money, and it's an investment that will pay off in the end.
That really is important to me because I am about renewable, clean energy. I think when you say clean coal, that doesn't even make sense, all right? So I am for solar, wind power, absolutely.
Initially it is expensive, like I was saying, it is an investment, but like long term, like 10 years, it would save you so much money on electricity bills, and I think that's cool.
Now, the farm has about 15,000 solar panels, and you can buy 1 solar panel for $685. Now, although not every day is a sunny day here in Lincoln, on those peak days, they power about 900 Lincoln homes, but officials say on average they only power about 150 homes. Reporting live from LES, Bailey Hurley, Star City News.
Thanks, Bailey. Now, Brett, I'll tell you what, I was walking outside a couple days ago, kind of used to the warm temperature, and that cold wind hit me, and it felt like I just got slapped.
And we will find out if that cold weather is here to stay with Dylan's weather outlook coming up next.
Look for a way to give back to the community. The Nebraska's Humane Society Pelock Pet Adoption Center is located off of 70th Street and Highway 2. The Capital Humane Society is always looking for cat, dog, and critter lovers to help comfort and play with the animals as they find their forever homes. Stop in or go to www.capitalhumanesociety.org to learn how you can give back to the community today.
Well, if you haven't blown away in the last couple days, you're probably wishing for some warmer weather. The good news is some of those cool winds that we have been seeing over the last few days have died down, although the cold temperatures still remain. 36 degrees right now here in the capital city. Those winds at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. That's way down from what we saw the last few days. It is still bringing those wind chill values below the freezing point, though, and really overall, though, not too much to complain about, especially for this time of year. We are right about on average. Our high at 42, right on the average of 42. Even our low temperature was actually a little bit above average. So even though you've had to dig out those winter coats, really you can't complain too much for where we're at to start off December. Now this is what we're taking a look at nationally. Not a whole lot going on back here in the state of Nebraska. There is some snow off to our west right now out in the Rockies. Probably won't see much of that here, but there is that cold front that is pushed all the way out into the Atlantic. Now that's what brought us some of that severe weather back on Sunday and has brought us also these cold temperatures that we have been seeing here as well recently. So as we take a look back towards tonight, it is going to be cloudy, but wind-wise, not much of it. About 3 to 5 miles per hour in terms of the winds. Those temperatures at about 24 degrees, so it will be below the freezing point, but not too much to worry about so far. 41 degrees for our high tomorrow. It will be sunny. Those suns will peek out from behind the clouds. Those winds will remain calm. So as far as the wind chill goes, won't see much of that, and that is probably the best news I have for you right now weather-wise. But really, it is going to warm up, and that's going to be the trend for at least the next couple of days. And throughout the weekend, it should probably be a pretty decent weekend to start out for December. Highs will be near the 50s. Probably won't quite reach the 50s, and then you see it out towards the middle of the next week in the work week. There is a chance for some snow. Not too much to worry about right now. It is something to think about, though. Probably won't see much in terms of precip, but it's something to think about and continue to watch.
We see the chance of snow. Is there any chance if it does snow that it would stick to the ground, or we just have it go away right away?
You know, I think it probably will stick. The ground is pretty cold at this point in time. It's just going to depend on how much we get in terms of amounts and whether it's rain or snow. We're kind of right on the edge right now.
Well, like you said, we are right on the edge, and we'll see if that snow comes, crossing our fingers that it does not. And in other news, an NBA game was canceled because of weather last night.
Michael Dixon's going to let us know how in the world that happened right after the break.
Now, I'm a sports guy, but even I had to come talk to my weather friends to figure out what happened in an indoor NBA game last night. And Nebraska volleyball's true title defense begins tomorrow night against New Hampshire. All that and more coming up on Sports.
One wrong choice can make you feel like the walls are closing in. Sometimes, you don't know where to turn. Student Legal Services is here for you when those situations strike. SLS attorneys offer free legal advice and representation to registered UNL students. Don't let one wrong decision ruin your future plans. Contact Student Legal Services at 402-472-3350 or visit our office at the UNL Student Union.
Look for a way to give back to the community. The Nebraska's Humane Society Pelock Pet Adoption Center is located off of 70th Street and Highway 2. The Capital Humane Society is always looking for cat, dog, and critter lovers to help comfort and play with the animals as they find their forever homes. Stop in or go to www.capitalhumanesociety.org to learn how you can give back to the community today.
Welcome back to Star City News. I'm Michael Dixon, and here's a look at the world of sports. Nebraska basketball traveled to South Carolina for their annual Big Ten ACC matchup last night. This time it was against the Clemson Tigers. Let's go ahead and look at the highlights. We pick it up in the first half. Ty Webster forces a steal and back the other way. A silky finish at the rim. The finger roll has Nebraska up 8. Here's one more look at it. Now we go to the second half. Webster spins on the baseline. Nice fadeaway. Webster finished with 12. At that point, Nebraska led by 3. But Clemson used an 8-0 run to take the lead. Here's Sidi Zide with the layup. But later, he has the play of the game. An offensive rebound among 5 Huskers. And he finds Dante Grantham wide open for 3. Clemson's lead at that point now up to 4. Last chance for Nebraska. Just a couple of seconds left. Webster with the runner at the buzzer, and that is just off the mark. Nebraska drops its 3rd consecutive game of the year. So Nebraska basketball has 3 losses, but one program on campus finished the regular season with only 2. That's Nebraska volleyball, and the Huskers continue to prepare for the NCAA tournament this week. That is tomorrow night against New Hampshire. Nebraska volleyball finished with a 27-2 overall record. They won the Big Ten championship, and the first serve again against New Hampshire on Friday is at 7 p.m. on NET. And how about this oddity from Philadelphia last night? The Sixers and Sacramento Kings were supposed to play, but the game was postponed after they decided the floor was just a bit too wet. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Here's Kings star DeMarcus Cousins mopping the floor up with the crew. It is exactly how it sounds, too. And I know Dylan just did weather for you, but here's an extended report. After the Flyers hosted a hockey game in the arena the night before, Wednesday's unseasonably warm temperatures in Philly combined with the warm temperature inside the building interacted with the ice underneath the hardwood floor, creating condensation and unsafe conditions for the athletes. All fans in attendance will get a ticket to the makeup game, a ticket to another game, and rebates on parking. And another reminder to set those fantasy lineups. America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, travel to Minneapolis tonight to take on the Vikings on Thursday Night Football. Now, Brett, I know you're a big Vikings fan. I'll go back to you at the desk.
And one sports story that was not touched on was the return of Tiger Woods back playing competitive golf for the first time.
And I would love to say it went really well for him, but he is currently 17th. Sounds all right, out of 18 total players, so not a great start for Tiger Woods. But I'll tell you what, New York City, they got lit on Wednesday.
Carly will have more on what that means in entertainment after the break.
The College of Journalism and Mass Communications is the perfect place for higher learning. Students have the chance to study journalism, broadcast journalism, and ad PR. Our distinguished students have the best possible resources with equipment, professors, and internships. Coming soon is the first of its kind, Interactive Digital Media Hub. The future is bright at the Co-JMC. Why not make yours too? Enroll today. Visit journalism.unl.edu.
In 2012, the national percentage of adults reporting that they drank too much alcohol before driving was 1.9%. In that same year, Nebraska adults reported 3.4%, nearly twice as much as the national average. People know they shouldn't drive, yet they still do. People go out and plan on coming back home. But as we all know, everything doesn't always go as planned. Inform those around you about the risks of drunk driving.
Welcome to the Adele Coriel Hall Learning Commons. This new addition will soon become the scholastic hub of City Campus. Enjoy the vibrant learning environment designed to accommodate and promote academics. The Commons also has a number of private study rooms to gather and collaborate with classmates and friends. Come visit the Adele Coriel Hall Learning Commons at Love Library today.
Welcome back. I'm Carly Jensen with your latest in entertainment. If you want some workout motivation, then you do not want to miss the Victoria's Secret fashion show on Monday. Last night, the Angels hit the runway at the famous Great Palace in the City of Lights. Model Bella Hadid made her debut while ex-boyfriend The Weeknd performed. You could feel the chemistry between them as he serenaded her and practically followed her to the end of the runway. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars also performed, and Kendall Jenner, Gigi Hadid, Adriana Lima, and Alessandra Ambrosio were crowd favorites. In other Angel news, model Irina Shayk walked the show last night in her second trimester. News broke earlier that day that she and boyfriend Bradley Cooper are going to be parents. This will be the first bundle of joy for both Irina and Bradley. She dressed her bump with a trench coat, and her next outfit also conveniently covered her tummy with red beading. Congrats, you guys. And Kanye West has been released from the hospital after being admitted for exhaustion and sleep deprivation. The 39-year-old rapper spent 9 days at the UCLA Medical Center for what sources are saying was a mental breakdown. Audio from the police call was released today that shows his doctor asking for backup.
Okay, we'll do, sir. Okay, so if you can just keep an eye on him, just try to obviously there with don't let him get any weapons or anything like that. If anything changes, if he does become physically combative between now and when the police and/or paramedics get their calls back immediately at 911. Will do. Thank you so much.
Just prior to being admitted, he had canceled the rest of his St. Pablo tour. And New York's a little brighter today with 50,000 multicolored lights. All those lights are on the 94-foot tall tree at Rockefeller Center. This year's tree ceremony was hosted by Alec Baldwin and Kate McKinnon, but it was Baldwin's 3-year-old daughter who stole the show, flipping the switch to turn on the lights. Mayor Bill de Blasio was also there to ring in with the festivities with the city. So it's official, only 24 days till Christmas, but the tree will be up until January 7th. That's all I have for entertainment, but coming up next on social media, a mom creates a meme that goes viral. Figure out why after the break.
What would we do if we won the Powerball jackpot?
That's daunting to think about.
The music may change, but we'll still be there. Music, sports, and more. 90.3 KRNU.
Welcome to the Adele Coryell Hall Learning Commons. This new addition will soon become the scholastic hub of City Campus. Enjoy the vibrant learning environment designed to accommodate and promote academics. The Commons also has a number of private study rooms to gather and collaborate with classmates and friends. Come visit the Adele Coryell Hall Learning Commons at Love Library today.
Hey everyone, this is Michael Horst and I am your social media correspondent. An evil Kermit the Frog has been the most popular meme recently. So popular that a mother's responded to her daughter's text using a picture of herself as a stand-in for Kermit. The first me representing what she would say to her daughter, "She's only young once, let her have fun," and the me to me being the internal thoughts of a parent, "No, tell her to come home at once for no apparent reason." Props to this Mom of the Year candidate for not just reposting the same old meme, but becoming the meme itself. So my parents own a cat. It's a very unpleasant cat, and frankly, I don't think it cares much for me. It would especially not do what this dog does every single day. Bo is a dog who waits for his owner's child to come home every day, watching through the window. The thing is, the child is at college. Carly, the owner's child, tweeted this picture her parents had sent of Bo doing just that. In the tweet, she mentions how, "I've been in college for a whole semester, and my dog still waits for me to get off the bus." It must be nice, Carly, knowing that a loving dog still waits for you. Meanwhile, I'm over here waiting for someone to throw me a bone. I think we can all agree that at one point in our lives, we thought Chicken McNuggets were the best food on the planet. Just like those animal crackers that are apparently distinct shapes of animals, chicken nuggets are no different. It has been determined that there are 4 different shapes of nuggets. Who knew? According to Barbara J. Booth, Director of Sensory Science at McDonald's USA, the 4 types include the ball, bell, boot, and bone, or as McDonald's Canada refers to the bone as the bow tie. Regardless of the shape, like all those animal cookies, as long as it tastes good, we could honestly care less what shape they are. I've been Michael Horst. Back to you guys at the
Thanks for joining us today on Star City News. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday for our final newscast of the year. I'm Michael Snow.
And I'm Brett Nierengarten. Have a good night.